The following is rated TV MA and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
And then I checked Facebook or YouTube, and it wasn't playing during the intro music and the starting soon screen. So now we just to hear. Okay. So segment number 1 will be This Week in Time. Let's hop in our timeline taxi and cruise through some of the strangest and most significant events from this week in history. Buckle up, folks, because history doesn't use seatbelts. June 26, 1945, the United Nations Charter is signed in San Francisco. In the sunny, fog-draped hills of San Francisco, delegates from 50 countries gathered to do something unprecedented. Actually agree on something. After the ashes of World War II, the world decided maybe, just maybe, it would be nice to have a place to talk things out before nukes started flying again. The result, the United Nations. Born not in New York, that came later, but in good old San Fran. Proof that sometimes peace begins with a handshake and a really long meeting. June 27th, 1950, U.S. sends troops to Korea after North invades South. The Cold War gets hot. After North Korea decides to barge into South Korea's house without knocking, the United States under President Truman dusts off its World War II boots and gets involved. Thus begins the Korean War, a brutal, bloody, and often overlooked conflict that technically never really ended. To this day, North and South Korea are still separated by one of the most tense borders in the world. All this because one dictator decided maps were just suggestions. June 25th, 1998, Windows 98 officially released. And here I am on Windows 11. Ah yes, the dawn of the modern computing age. Or, depending on your experience, the dawn of modern frustration. Windows 98 brought us plug-and-play devices, USB support, and everyone's favorite, the blue screen of death. It was like Russian roulette, but with spreadsheets. If you ever lost a term paper, a budget, or your last shred of sanity to a surprise crash, you're entitled to financial compensation. Or at the very least, a juice box and a long nap. June 28th, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand assassinated in Sarajevo. And then there was at one time a single bullet plunged the world into war when a 19-year-old Bosnian Serb named Gavrilo Princip shot the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. It triggered a domino effect of alliances, ultimatums, and declarations of war that led straight to World War I. It was supposed to be the war to end all world wars. Spoiler alert, it wasn't, but it did teach us a valuable lesson. Maybe letting empires marry into each other like a game of Risk isn't the best idea. From global conflict to operating system crashes, this week in history reminds us that everything, from diplomacy to data loss, has a backstory. Now, back to the present, where we can Google all of this without our computers crashing. Or catching fire, probably. Segment number 2, Time Warp Deep Dive. The Disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. Picture it. Detroit, July 30th, 1975. Late afternoon. It's muggy, 82 degrees, with a haze in the sky. Outside the upscale Matcha's Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township, a man in a dark suit waits alone. His name, Jimmy Hoffa. Legendary labor leader, former president of the Teamsters, once one of the most powerful men in America. He's supposed to meet two mob-connected men, Tony Provenzano, and Anthony Giacalone, but they never show. At least that's what we're told. Hoffa waits. He calls his wife at 2:15 p.m. He's annoyed, maybe nervous, and then he vanishes. To understand Hoffa's disappearance, we have to understand his power. In the 1950s and 60s, Jimmy Hoffa rose through the ranks of the Teamsters Union, organizing truckers and warehouse workers, wielding massive political influence. But Hoffa wasn't just rubbing elbows with politicians. He was neck deep in dealings with organized crime. He helped the mob secure control of Teamster pension funds, billions in loans that built Las Vegas, literally. The casinos, the resorts, the glittering strip, that was Teamster money. And Jimmy knew where every cent went. But the law caught up with him. Hoffa was convicted of bribery and fraud in the mid-60s and served time. By 1971, he was out thanks to a commutation from none other than President Richard Nixon. Nixon. Because Nixon talked like that kind of Nixon. But there was a catch. Hoffa was banned from union activity until 1980. He didn't like that. So, some theories and timelines here. Now let's examine the major theories behind Hoffa's disappearance, because when a man like that vanishes without a trace, it isn't random. It's surgical. Number one, the mob hit it. Most popular theory. Mob bosses don't like noise, and Hoffa was making a lot of it. He wanted his job back. He was pressuring old allies like Anthony Tony Provenzano, now a Genovese family capo, to support his return. They warned him to back off. He didn't. The theory goes that Hoffa was lured to that meeting, picked up by mob associates, killed quickly, maybe even in the car, and his body disposed of in classic mob fashion. The FBI theory, number two. Here's where things get more covert. Some insiders believe Hoffa was ready to flip, to turn informant against the very people he once worked with. The FBI had been on him for years. If he were willing to talk about mob union ties, he'd be dangerous. Maybe the FBI knew. Maybe they let it happen. Or worse, maybe someone inside made sure it did. No official record supports that, but it's enough to raise eyebrows. Number three, body disposal legends. Unconfirmed but entertaining. Now, we get to the folklore. The urban legends. Where is Jimmy Hoffa now? Buried beneath Giant Stadium in New York, or New Jersey, not New York. Cremated in a mob-connected funeral home, ashes scattered with the day's leftovers. Dumped into a car crusher, then melted into scrap metal. Encased in a steel drum and sunk in the Great Lakes. Even buried in a suburban Michigan backyard. Over the years, tips have come in. Digs have been done. In 2003, the FBI excavated a Detroit horse farm. In 2013, a driveway in Oakland Township. Nothing. The code of silence. Here's the heart of it all. No one is talking, and that silence is louder than any confession. The mob has a saying, omerta, the code of silence. It's not just loyalty, it's fear. For 50 years, people connected to Hoffa's last day have stayed quiet, died, or disappeared themselves. Quote from... Well, that was a cool little new follower sign there. Huh, thank you for following. That freaked me out for a minute. Don't give me a heart attack when I'm talking about freaky stuff, man. I love y'all, but I could have died right there. Just right there. Whee! It's okay, though. It's okay. Thank you for following on Twitch. I appreciate it. Quote from Charles Brandt, author of I Heard You Paint Houses. Hoffa was betrayed by people he trusted. He got in the car. He never got out. July 30th, 2025 will mark 50 years since Jimmy Hoffa vanished. The case remains open, but cold. Ice cold. No charges, no death certificate until 1982. Just theories, whispers, and a man-shaped hole in American history. Was it the mob? The feds? Did he cross a line no one crosses and pay the ultimate price? Or is Hoffa laughing in Havana, sipping rum with Elvis and Tupac? You're bad. How was your day? My day's good. And don't worry about I was just having fun saying you gave me a heart attack with that follow. But it's cool. I like getting follows that give me heart attacks. It's kind of cool. So, what do you guys think? Chat, email, whatever. We want your wildest Hoffa theories, and we promise we won't forward them to the FBI. You're listening to Talk Radio, Time Warp Thursday, where history hides in the shadows, and every mystery deserves a second look. Other time travel theories here. It wouldn't be Time Warp Thursday without asking the big what if. What if Jimmy Hoffa didn't die? What if he traveled in time? Theory number 1, the chrononaut escape plan. There's a fringe theory that paints Hoffa not as a victim, but as a volunteer. A man with enemies closing in, secrets too dangerous to expose, and the power of the Teamsters behind him. Some claim Hoffa had access to experimental time travel tech, maybe military, maybe mob, or maybe mob funded. Who knows? And he used it to skip out of his own timeline, like a labor union version of Doctor Who. Vanishing not with a body in a barrel, but with a flash of tachyon particles and a one-way ticket to the future. Sound crazy? Absolutely. But it explains why no trace of him has ever turned up. Not a hair, not a bone, not even a pinky ring. Theory number 2, parallel dimension detour. Then there's the multiverse theory. What if Hoffa didn't go forward, but sideways, into another dimension entirely? One where the mob didn't fall, where Vegas is still run by made men in velvet suits, and where unions still command political power and real influence. In that world, maybe Hoffa didn't vanish. Maybe he thrived. Maybe he's still alive over there with a corner office at a gold-plated casino shaped like a bowling pin and a personal entourage of robot bodyguards. Who knows? In this world, who knows? Theory number 3, Project Pegasus. Here's where it gets even stranger. Have you heard of Project Pegasus? It's a real-life conspiracy theory from the 1980s. Claims of a secret U.S. government program using teleportation and time travel tech developed by Nikola Tesla's papers. Theorists say it was run under DARPA and that children were being trained as chrononauts to travel across time and space. Some say Hoffa got too close. Others say he was part of it, a test subject, a whistleblower, or maybe even one of the first time travelers who went off the grid. He disappeared in 1975. Pegasus rumors spark in the early 80s. Coincidence or a cosmic cover-up? Totally ridiculous. Absolutely. But then again, what isn't anymore? We live in a world where billionaires are building rockets, where AI can write you a love letter in the style of Edgar Allan Poe, and where your fridge can talk to you. So is it really that much weirder to think Jimmy Hoffa might have skipped town through time? Como está, Rai Rai? Como está to you too?
Who's that?
Cosmo, the Dandy's World people. Coming up next, we'll look at what the FBI actually thinks happened. But let's a way cooler ending. Skies. Let's set the scene. It's November 5th, 1975, just a few months after Hoffa's disappearance. In the forest of northeastern Arizona, a logging crew witnesses a glowing object hovering over the trees. One man, Travis Walton, gets too close and disappears for 5 days. When he returns, he tells a story of alien abduction, experimentation, and otherworldly beings. His case becomes one of the most famous and hotly debated UFO encounters of the 20th century. And it wasn't just Arizona. That same fall, military bases across the country, from Loring Air Force Base in Maine to Malmstrom in Montana, reported sightings of strange, silent crafts hovering near nuclear weapons facilities. Lights in the sky, radar anomalies, unmarked helicopters, the kind of stuff that makes conspiracy theorists foam at the mouth, and military officials go tight-lipped. Some even claim that Hoffa saw something, that maybe, just maybe, he stumbled onto a secret he wasn't supposed to see. Think about it. If the mob didn't get him, if the feds didn't silence him, what if they did? If you're going to vanish from Earth, might as well go big. Coming up next, we'll wrap up our Hoffa mystery tour with your listener theories and a peek into the classified files that might still be hiding the truth. Don't touch that dial unless you're trying to contact a UFO. Okay. No, I gotta switch here. Sorry about that. Alright. Now, as you all know or might not know, I do scripts. Okay, I do scripts that kind of have scripts to read off of. You might be able to tell I'm reading a script. And the script seemed to fall out right now because now it's going to be getting into some Lakewood stuff, my hometown, which is part of the show as well. So, but we will see if my script goes back to what I was talking about. We will see. This is what happens on live talk radio. But Lakewood Legends, Gary's shoe repair. This week, Lakewood Legend, a man who's been walking the walk by fixing where your walk begins. That's right, it's Gary's shoe repair right on Bridgeport Way, proudly open since 1972. That's over 50 years of polishing, stitching, patching, and soul-saving service in the heart of Lakewood. Now get this, Gary Martin started the shop as a 24-year-old Army veteran just back from Vietnam. He'd learned leatherworking while stationed overseas and decided to open a shop with the $800 he had saved and a used Adler sewing machine shipped in from Tacoma. No social media, no franchise, just skill, grit, and word of mouth. Located originally across from what used to be Villa Plaza Mall, now Lakewood Town Center, Gary saw the neighborhood change around him. When the mall transformed in the late 80s, Gary didn't move. When the area incorporated into the city of Lakewood in 1996, Gary was still there. When dozens of chain stores came and went, his shop light still buzzed on at 7:30 in the morning every weekday. And here's the thing, it's not just about shoes. Gary has repaired cowboy boots from rodeo champs, cleats worn by Clover Park High School athletes, even a pair of 1940s tap shoes someone found at a garage sale and wanted restored, just to hear the sound again. He's patched up police boots, resold nurses' clogs, and once, according to a story in the Lakewood Patch, was asked to discreetly fix a pair of size 17 leather wing-tipped, allegedly belonging to an ex-Seattle Supersonics player. But he never bragged. That wasn't Gary. For years, he offered free shoe shines. Shoe shines. Say that 3 times fast. Go ahead. Say it 3 times fast. Shoe shines. To veterans every Memorial Day, and discounted repairs for anyone who worked in public schools. During the COVID lockdown, when foot traffic dropped to zero, Gary kept the shop open by appointment, sometimes only seeing 2 or 3 customers a week, but never closed for good. He once said, quote, "The shoes don't talk, But if they did, they'd have stories. And Gary, you've got stories too. Like the time you taught a Lakewood teen how to fix a zipper just because she asked nicely. Or how you repaired a wedding shoe hours before the ceremony twice. Gary's son Michael now helps run the shop part-time, and some say a third generation might be in the works. But Gary still takes every soul personally. If you walk in today, he'll still greet you with the same quiet confidence, and maybe a groan about how they just don't make leather like they used to. So hats off to you, Gary. 50 plus years of craftsmanship, community, and soulful storytelling. Lakewood wouldn't be the same without you. Neighborhood notes. This one beams in from just off 112th Street in Lakewood. Last weekend near the Oak Brook neighborhood, the Nguyen family, or Gwyn family, or however you say that, unveiled a brand new little free library, but with a twist. It wasn't just a wooden box full of gently used books. No, this library looks like it crash landed from outer space. The library, hand-built by Mr. Gwyn, a retired Air Force mechanic and amateur carpenter, is modeled after a 1950s sci-fi rocket ship. But the real magic that came from his 8-year-old daughter, Lila. She painted the entire thing in neon greens and cosmic purples, complete with little aliens, reading books, a time machine control panel, and yes, a wormhole labeled to the past or the playground. It's sitting right at the edge of their yard, and within hours of being installed, neighbors were already stopping by. First came the paperbacks, then came the giggles from curious kids, and by Sunday evening, a note appeared inside the box. This is the coolest library in the galaxy, signed by a fifth grader named Marcus from just down the street. But this little project isn't just about books or paint. The Gwyns said they wanted to create a gathering point, something that gave back. Lila even added a second shelf labeled Time Traveler's Picks, with books like A Wrinkle in Time, Ender's Game, and The Time Machine. Lakewood's had little free libraries pop up before. There's one near Lake City Elementary and another one over by Fort Silicon Park. But this one's from another dimension. So if you're out for a walk this week near 112th and Butte Drive, keep your eyes peeled. You just might find a new favorite read or a ticket to the stars. Now, full disclosure, this story about the Gwyn family and their cosmic little free library is a bit fictionalized. Inspired by the kind of creativity and neighborly spirit we see all around Lakewood. But we want your real stories to share here too. Have you or someone you know done something special for the community, built a cool little project, helped a neighbor in a way that deserves a shout out? Send us your stories. We want to celebrate the real magic happening in Lakewood neighborhoods every day. Drop a message at talkradiotimewarp@gmail.com or hit us up on social media at #Lakewood Legends. Who knows? Your story could show up next week or in a couple weeks. Next week, I'm taking a week off of Talk Radio. The Art Spot. Welcome to the Art Spot, our dedicated little corner to shine a spotlight on the amazing local art that's blossoming right here in our community. Whether it's murals, sculptures, galleries, or pop-up exhibits, this is where we celebrate creativity in all its vibrant forms. If you know of any local art spots, maybe a mural tucked away on the side street, a new gallery opening, or an art event happening near you, please send your tips and stories my way. I'd love to check them out and share the magic with everyone here. You can reach me at talkradiotimewarp@gmail.com. Let's keep celebrating the incredible creativity that makes our community unique. Porch Talk / Local Voices, where the voices of Lakewood come alive. Each week, we bring you real stories, thoughts, and laughs straight from the porches and sidewalks of our community. Whether it's from a quick email, a friendly chat, or a spontaneous moment right outside someone's front door. Porch Talk is all about sharing what you have to say. So sit back, listen close, and hear what your neighbors are talking about this week right here in Lakewood. And hey, if you've got a story, a thought, or a question you want to share, we want to hear from you. Send us your voice clips or messages at talkradiotimewarp@gmail.com, or catch me on your front porch sometime. Wait, that sounded freaky. Meet me on your front porch sometime. Yeah, I'll be there waiting. No, if you see me walking by your front porch and you recognize me from the show, call me over if you want to talk, and we can do a little, segment recording. Okay, from the baffling disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa to the quirky mysteries tucked away in Lakewood streets, some stories are puzzles waiting for us to solve, while others are legends that remind us why we love a good mystery in the first place. These tales, whether fact or folklore, keep the past alive for us. They spark our curiosity, fuel our imagination, and yes, demand a healthy dose of skepticism. Because without questioning, the story just becomes noise. But with the right questions, it becomes an adventure through time itself. Thanks for traveling through time with me on Time Warp Thursday, episode 115 of season 2. I'm Jonathan Riley, and I hope you enjoyed the ride as much as I did. Remember, time isn't just a straight line, it's a loop, a spiral, and sometimes a doorway into the unknown. So keep looking back, keep wondering, and keep questioning, because the stories that matter most are the ones we keep telling, and the mysteries that keep us searching. The next episode of Time Warp Thursday, we will be diving into one of the most chilling unsolved crimes in history, the bizarre case of the Hinterkaifeck murders. A remote farmstead, eerie footsteps in the snow, and a mystery that still haunts Germany nearly a century later. You won't want to miss it. And then tomorrow night, for the last episode of this week for Talk Radio, finally Friday, we will be having an interview with the one and only YouTube star, Claude Beauty. If you know of Claude Beauty, you'll want to see this episode.
If you don't know Claude Beauty, you will want to see this episode. Trust me.
Yes, and if you don't know Claude Beauty, you'll want to watch the episode. Good interview, very informative and deep.
Amazing woman.
And
person.
Yes, an interesting person. So, stay tuned for tomorrow night with Claude Beauty. And then next week, just a reminder that I will not be live next week, Monday through Friday. I'm taking a week off. Got stuff going on that's kind of taking away my time for being live. So, taking a week off. Restarting my journey in this thing. So, should I even be using 2 or 3 phones at the same time? My Dandy's World folks are just chatting up a storm over here about just random stuff. So, thank you guys for watching, and thank you to the guy the lady, the follower on Twitch who almost gave me a heart attack. Thank you very much for following me. I love getting the follows. I love getting the chat going on. I love being interactive with my audience as much as I possibly can. Sometimes I get into talking so much that I don't notice the chat, or I see it scrolling and I'm like, what are they talking about? And then I lose track of like what's going on. Anyways, until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and most of all, stay adventurous and behave yourselves. Don't do nothing bad with your adventurousness. Like, don't go doing crazy things. Like, don't try to bring Jimmy Hoffa back from the future or whatever. And I'm sorry that the Jimmy Hoffa thing did not continue. I don't know what happened. I know there was another part I was supposed to have, but it disappeared somewhere in my editing and updating of my script. So I apologize. But in 2 weeks, we'll have a nice long conversation of the Hinterkaifeck murders. Take care. Have a good one. Ha ha.